Joining us this week on the show is Exit Strategy Realty, broker, owner, and real estate coach right here in Chicago. We're talking with Nick Libert. And Nick, I know you've got some great information that you're working on for our listeners.
A little bit more information on the upcoming rebate programs and the tax credits for green energy and sustainability, and especially the green retrofits that are coming out there from these new bills from Congress. And just in general, the new technologies that are out there are fascinating. And I've been implementing them in my own home. We've had some content in the past. We've had Wayne Beals from our office, who is a greenhousing specialist. And the people are playing a lot in the new construction space on it. But most of us, like probably all three of us, have a used home, a home that we live in that's already been built. And so there's some great strategies to get some green tips and green pieces into the home to save you money on your utility bills. We all know those seem to be going nowhere but up, and also be a more responsible, earth steward, so to speak. And so I've got a top 10 here, and they go kind of in order of cost as well as in order of ease of installation. So I'm going to run these down for you guys, and I'm going to continue to be researching online what tax credits are going to come first, and maybe we'll even do another show on that later. But I want to get right into this top 10 here. The first one, this is a super easy one. You're looking up and you're seeing your light bulbs in your house. Whiz Bulbs, that is the brand that I'm using and recommending. They are a much cheaper version of the Hue bulbs, the GE or Philips Hue bulbs that everybody raves about, that can change colors and they can do all kinds of cool stuff. The Whiz Bulbs are actually a much cheaper version. They got bought out by Philips because they were such an innovative product. And you can install those and save 80 to 90% on your lighting costs, because over the long term, they are so much more energy efficient than a traditional bulb. And then more importantly, even than just that, if you've got a smart home system, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they're going to be able to be turned on and off remotely. So if you forget to turn off a light in the room and you go out to show a house, if you're a realtor or you are out looking at houses or whatever you're doing in your day, you can control them all remotely. So if you forget to turn something off or you want to turn something on for security, you control it completely remotely from anywhere in the world. So I really like those Whiz Bulbs. It's a super cheap, fun start to the process. Second one, a little bit of manual labor. Maybe you've got, maybe you're handy, maybe you're not. You can always get a contractor or a handyman out to do this. Insulation and caulking around doors and windows. If you are feeling any sort of drafts around them, please get that done. It's just such a waste to have any sort of drafts. A lot of us in vintage homes, we've got ill-fitting doors. We've got windows that are older. Maybe you're part of a condo association like I am, where they are going to restrict when you can change the windows. So you really just got to go out and get some caulk and some insulation. I like the foam insulation tape pieces. They're not always the most attractive, but they're so effective to get around those doors and windows anywhere you've got a crack, because that will cut your energy bills year-round. Cold, warm weather, whatever the climate is, it's going to help you out there. The longer-term and more expensive solution is my third idea, and that is getting those old windows and ill-fitting doors replaced with double-pane, thermopane windows. Some of them now have a UV filter on them, so you're not getting some of that beating sun in, particularly those of us with western exposures. You get so much heat that comes in through the windows and so much energy that's lost going out through the windows. Long-term, it's expensive, but it will pay off for resale value. So replacing those old, ill-fitting windows and doors. Item 4, I just have really enjoyed this. There's a couple different products out there. There's a Google Home. There's also, of course, the Alexa system. And those are smart home-enabled systems. And those smart home-enabled systems, they allow you to control everything in your home remotely. So if you want to turn something on or off, if you want to raise the temperature, lower the temperature, anything like that, it is really a smart home hub is what they call it. I'd strongly recommend getting one of those, because it's not only just for the idea of, okay, you can even preheat your oven if you've got some of these newer LG appliances. You can do things that you can control things remotely, so it's convenient. And also, if you decide that you're not going to cook that roast or whatever, after all, you can turn it off if you've gone out of the home. So some really nice things, same way with washers and dryers, but those smart home hubs are key. And then the fifth thing going right along with that some sort of window covering. This is the project that we're working on at my house now. Smart home-enabled shades, whether they're curtains, probably not, but blinds and especially shades that go up and down, that they will be able to control, again, that UV exposure coming in the home, that beating sun that drives our temperatures up, particularly in a west-facing window in the afternoon, but even in the east-facing windows in the morning time. If you can have something that automatically goes up and down and protects you from that, that's going to be a huge energy savings. Think how often your furnace or your air conditioner is running simply because there's sun beating in the windows. So those smart home-enabled shades are just absolutely key as item 5. Going right along with that, item 6, this was a big one for me, a Nest or an ecobee thermometer. Those are the two big main players, a Nest or ecobee thermometer. Huge savings when you program it to know two things. Number one, you can program it by season and by time of day, but also make sure to set it so that it geolocationally knows when you come and go. Because a lot of times, us realtors, we're running in and out of our house all the time. People have got kids running to soccer games and whatever you're doing in your life, even walking your pet, and you decide to go to the grocery store. If you've got your thermostat set at a certain temperature and you're not home, that's a waste. So a geolocational notification when you come and go, it will also make your home more comfortable when you do come home because it's going to catch you on your way back. So those Nest and ecobee thermometers both have that. That's item 6. Item 7, pretty boring one, but also a very simple one. Change your furnace filters, your HVAC system filters monthly. If you've got a air conditioner compressor, make sure that there's no leaves on top of it, things like that, because the less air that they can get come in them, the more they're going to run. So changing those air filters monthly, making sure there's no obstructions around those pieces, really a simple fix. Item 8, long-term, and again, more expensive, you're going to consider replacing those old systems with new high-efficiency equipment. So a new high-efficiency furnace for some of us, but even better, a heat pump. A heat pump does both the, in almost every climate now, they've got them where they can go down to, I believe, -7 degrees. So for those of us in Chicago, I think that'll cover us most times. But it is the heat pump system. It both cools and heats in a much better, much more efficient way than your old school traditional gas-fired furnace and your air compressor that's going to be probably on your roof or on your deck, or out in your backyard. So long-term, consider replacing them, hopefully with a heat pump. And again, there are some tax credits coming for a lot of this bigger expense stuff. Item 9 is a fascinating one to me. We're seeing this all over in Chicago. It started in some of the southern climates first in the big cities, but it's now going even to residential single-family homes in the suburbs and in small towns. It's green roof systems. And what I mean by green roof systems is whether you've got a dark-colored roof that's absorbing a huge amount of energy and therefore creating heat into it, or a silver flat roof like I have. A lot of us in the city, we've got some sort of silver or like a rubberized roof that is, if you touch it in the summertime, it's like a grill out there. You can put in a green roof system. They're absolutely beautiful. It provides pollination for the bees. We're hearing so much about, the bees going away. Really can be aesthetically very pleasing to the eye and also extremely environmentally a great steward. So those green roof systems, fun to put in. If you're a green thumb, they're fun to maintain. If not, maybe not so fun to maintain, but they are really beautiful. And again, a great energy saver as well. Last but not least, most expensive on my list and the most fascinating to me, item 10, the ultimate goal would be to have solar panels. Solar panels on the roof, in the backyard, maybe in your garage, depending on how your setup is. There's a lot of consultation companies out there now that are offering their services to kind of navigate you through these changing and improving tax credits because solar panels are not yet cheap. There's even power banks like from Tesla. You don't have to have an electric car yet, even though a lot of us are kind of trending in that direction. But having the ability, you'll never turn yourself completely off the grid, but you will be able to dramatically decrease your dependency on the electrical grid. And all of these systems together can combine to where you someday could be almost completely self-sufficient in terms of if there's a power outage, your power doesn't go out if you've got a power bank. If you are looking to cut your energy bills, I mean, again, you go right down to the light bulbs. You can have an 80 to 90% lower usage of light bulbs in all the way up to your appliances. What are your appliances doing for you? Look for the Energy Star logo. So there's a bunch of different things. That's kind of my top 10 for now. I'm going to be adding to it. And I always appreciate you guys allowing me some time to come on and share some content that hopefully will be relevant to our consumers and to our Exit Real Estate family across the country alike.
Always great content, Nick. We appreciate you. And tell our listeners how to follow you on social media and stay in touch for more information.
Well, I am on the same social media handle about everywhere, and I'm always talking about real estate and greenhousing. It's a passion of mine. It's sustainability has been for so many years. I've got the green designation from the National Association of Realtors, and I talk about that on social media quite a bit. I'm in the same handle everywhere, as I said. That's at Nick Libert, NICKLIB as in boy, ERT.
Nick, we appreciate you joining us once again. Have a great week, and we'll talk soon.